As we begin tonight's debate and Meet the Candidates event, we'll please take a moment to reflect with the Leamington District Chamber of Commerce as we respect the rich and vibrant culture of our Indigenous people. We wish to honor the original people of Turtle Island as we recognize their homelands as a sacred and spiritual place known since time immemorial. In the spirit of partnership and reconciliation, we acknowledge that our membership resides on the land of Caldwell First Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to tonight's candidates meeting. The Chamber of Commerce actively works with all government agencies, including our federal, provincial, and of course, municipal governments. Thank you all for taking the time out of your evening to be informed on this important municipal election. There will be a zero tolerance for uncivil or unprofessional behavior towards staff, volunteers of the Chamber, candidates, and event attendees. Any contravention, you will be asked to leave the property. Tonight's moderator, Dave McCormick, will have the final say to any discussion. Proceeds from the bottled water sold tonight will help fund the upcoming Leamington Christmas Parade in the traditional format, scheduled for November 26th, presented by the Leamington District Chamber of Commerce. Be sure to get your bottled water at the back of the room. We were unable to live stream tonight, but this debate will be available tomorrow, shared on YouTube. You can visit the Chamber's webpage to find a link. And please welcome to the podium our moderator for the evening, Dave McCormick from Legacy Auctions.
Thank you, Chad. It's an honor to be your moderator tonight. I'll be working with John Barnett up front here, and he's our timer. John will hold up the yellow card when the candidate has 15 seconds left. And then the red card when the red card is zero time left, as the time as moderator will stop the candidates from speaking. Candidates are expected to exercise professionalism, diligence throughout the debates. A moderator, I will acknowledge. The candidates may begin their remarks, response to questions as moderator. I have the final say regarding any procedural or behavioral issues. The order of the mayor candidates have been determined by random draw. Candidates are placed in alphabetical order, and the first questions will go to Hilda McDonald, followed by Chris Byron. On the procedure of the evening, mayor opening remarks will have up to 2 minutes for their opening remarks. Panel questions are posed to the candidates. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer. Candidates will see the green card throughout their time. In 15 seconds left, the yellow card will be held up, and when time is up, they will see the red card. If one candidate refers to another candidate, the candidate will have 45 seconds for a rebuttal. Timing is the green card, 30 seconds. The yellow card is 15 seconds. The red card is 0 seconds. The moderator will cut off the candidates. Here we go. Could I have Hilda McDonald and Chris Byron up to the stage? Okay, we'll start with Hilda opening remarks. You've got 2 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Good evening, everyone. I'm Hilda McDonald. I'm the current mayor of the Municipality of Leamington and a sitting member of council for the past 16 years. This is a part-time job, they told me. Well, the past 4 years, I have attended work every day, either in person, over Zoom, or on the telephone. I attend every meeting, prepared, and having done my homework. And I'm here for a minimum of 8 hours a day. I have made invaluable connections over the past 4 years that have served this municipality well. Good regional connections, as well as provincial and federal, and they proved invaluable over the course of the past 4 years. I've got 4 priorities this term: housing and homelessness. Affordable housing needs to be increased to make up for the shortfall in housing stock that is at a crisis point in Leamington due to a number of reasons. Homelessness needs to be attacked by the community partners, and municipal government needs to lead the way in getting upper level funding. That's what we need to do. Community safety. We're working with OPP on crime prevention, traffic enforcement, and are we where we want to be? No, we're not. But we will push for more visibility and reduction in crime statistics and make sure our community is a safer place. We need to also address the
30 seconds.
ability of our fire department to ensure all residents and businesses have more than just adequate protection. And then quickly, infrastructure renewal and expansion, we have to figure that out as well, where we want all the great things, but we don't always want to pay for them. And lastly, we have process improvements. Are we great at getting permits? Heck no, it's not easy to navigate. We will do better. I want to continue working for you, giving my best for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. McConnell. Go ahead, Chris.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank you very much for being present here. This is what makes Canada a free and democratic society. That's what I want to thank you. My name is Chris Biden. I'm running for mayor. I'm a new face. Very few people know me. I work for a middle-sized company in the legal department. I'm the manager. I'm a licensed paralegal by the Law Society of Ontario, and I've been a community advocate for over 35 years. My experience is representing people before tribunals and courts. I've been allowed to talk in court in Ontario Court of Justice, Superior Court of Justice, and Divisional Court. I've been respected by justice of peace and by judges. What I will bring to the municipality is service. I'll be your public servant, not your representative, your public servant. I bring accountability and transparency. And this is very important. Did you know, for instance, that in 2017, the municipality sold a business downtown valued in approximately $500,000 for only $43? This is shocking. This was done with closed doors, based on confidential or secret reports. People did not know, people did not participate. You cannot sell a building that has a value of approximately $500,000, which is $500,000 in $43. It's a joke. We cannot permit that. The municipality is today engaged in at least 4 court proceedings against the people of the city. What I bring here is accountability. You will be welcome every time that you want to come to my office. I will meet everybody with respect, with honesty, transparency, and accountability. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, for the panel questions, you have 1 minute to answer. If there's a rebuttal, there's 45 seconds for the rebuttal. So Chris Bryan, we'll start with you. Please expand on the top priorities as outlined in your opening statement. Specifically, how will you advocate for these issues?
Thank you. This is not complicated. When I say that I'm a community advocate, I mean it. And what is important is that, again, the priority is service, 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 transparency. We have to act in the best interest of the community, and I mean that all sectors, our agricultural sector, our citizens, and every other industries. We have tremendous problems in terms of transparency. We have problems in terms of development because people don't want to come and invest in the city. If to get a permit, you need to wait for 8 months or so. To get a business license, you have to wait up to 3 years. This is not acceptable. This is not what we need. Crime prevention is very, very important. We need friendly police presence on the street so we can educate people and we can get crime prevention. Today, the OPP, it's just responsive. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion. Mrs. McDonald, same question. Please expand on your top priorities as outlined in your opening statement. Specifically, how would you advocate for these issues?
In the housing piece, we purchased the former LDSS property. We purchased the former LDSS property, and we are going to call for requests for proposal for the best idea from developers around the province that will give us an idea of how they can produce affordable housing, and make it to the point that folks can actually buy a house that are not working in six-figure jobs. So we're looking at smaller houses, we're looking at modular houses, we're looking at houses with no basement. So that's how we're going to do that piece. The homelessness piece, we've already opened a homeless resource hub in conjunction with the County of Essex and South Essex Community Council. We're looking at housing pods, again, working with partners. We cannot do this alone. We can push upper levels for funding, whether that's the funding manager, the City of Windsor, or the Province of Ontario.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Okay, for our next question, what is the vision of how the municipality of Leamington should move forward in preparing for and supporting key industries in the sectors? For Mrs. McDonald.
At one point in time, we hired an economic development officer. We actually had a number over the years. And did we see tremendous results? We had to say that we didn't. And then COVID happened and everything seemed to come to a standstill, as you all know. And that was a time for us to pause and look at what we were doing. We pay about $127,000 to our portion of the County of Essex for Invest Windsor Essex. That is at minimum, that's one wage for one economic development officer. In the case of Invest Windsor Essex, we have a team. So for the same amount of money we would pay for one person, we can pay for a team that has all kinds of outreach, not only into the rest of the province, but across the country and on into Europe. Invest Windsor Essex has been responsible for the battery plant that's coming, and we want to work with them even more closely going into the future.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Chris, Brian, the same question. What is your vision of how the municipality of Leamington should move forward in preparing for supporting key industries and sectors?
The first thing that we need to do is to be able to attract investment. But we cannot attract investment if we have bureaucrats and municipality that takes too long to give investors the opportunity to bring to Leamington. This is very important. The municipality has failed tremendously in that way. And I'm not talking about my friend, I'm talking about the municipality as a whole. We spend every year, last year, for instance, we spent $3,258,000 in salaries. And these are the top salaries of the people in the municipality. Somebody has to be certain, make sure that when we go there, we audit what they do and we correct any problems that we are in, particularly with the input of the community. We're not separate from you. We are your servants. I'm going to be your public servant. And it's important for me to understand the processes and particularly to understand what you want for the community.
Thank you, Chris.
Can I just say something? He said, he referred to me as his friend, so I do have a rebuttal if I could.
Yes, you did.
We have seen what it's like not to be able to hire the right people or the kind of caliber of employee in the past. We were at the bottom of the wage range for the rest of the region. We had to up our wages. In order to have good people work here, we have to be able to pay them good money. If we want to have just barely adequate, then we pay lower wages. So for us to have good people, we have to pay the dollars. I'm sure you all understand what that's like.
Okay, the next question goes to Chris. It is often said that small businesses are the backbone of the community. And here in Leamington, that is particularly true. What is your view on how the municipality can support small business to ensure their footprints continue to grow?
See, once again, we need a proactive municipality, not a regulating one, not a policing one. Somebody may have an idea, and that idea is not received until you ask for a permit. And when you ask for a permit, then you have to face these people. And I'm not complaining about the amount of salary. That's not my point. My point is that if we spend $3.2 million in salaries, we expect results. So that's the same thing that we need. We need get rid of the red tape. We need to have very proactive municipality. If anybody wants to bring a business, they should be able to come to the municipality and ask for guidance. And we should be able to guide, not to regulate, not to tell them what they're doing wrong, but help them to do the right thing. And there's a lot of initiative, but this initiative is always being frustrated by coming to a municipality that doesn't listen to you, and at the time when you really need them, they are there to police you. That should stop.
Thank you, Mr. Garner. Same question, Mrs. McDonald. It's often said that small business is the backbone of the community, and here in Leamington, that is particularly true. What is your view on how the municipality can support small business to ensure their footprint continues to grow?
I guess this is where experience matters because I know who's out there helping us. Small Business Center in the region helps people who are looking at starting a new business. They help with training, they help with mentoring. They're there for folks at no cost. We have also, Invest Windsor Essex, who hold seminars, who do all kinds of outreach for brand new businesses. We also had Reinvent This Space, where we invited young entrepreneurs to come to the municipality, have training with the Invest Windsor Essex team, and then put forward a business idea. They won $15,000 in free rent. So to me, we are doing everything possible to help build business, to boost entrepreneurship to the best of our ability. And we have takers every time that we put these plans out there. I believe we have that, maybe not covered 100%, but we certainly give people lots of opportunity that they do not have to pay for. They just have to come, call, and we can direct them to the right place.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Next question goes to Chris. The city economic development portfolio is diverse and includes more than the traditional commercial and industrial sectors. Arts, culture, heritage, and tourism sectors are common economic drivers. What would you do to enhance the city's commitments to arts, culture, and heritage?
Once again, you have to repeat the same thing. We, in economic development, I identify 21 key people at the municipality. Once again, the salaries that we pay to those is $2,600,000. We need them to work for the city. When we talk about economic development, we need to make it attractive to people to invest in the city. We're not doing that. We're kicking them away. We're not doing what is necessary for us to do. So once again, I think that we need to really work on it. It's not good enough to say we do the best. No, we have to excel in terms of create all the right environment for economic development. We need, again, to be very proactive, not to rest on volunteers. The municipalities should be very proactive in carrying out the development. Once again, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Same question for Hilda. The city economic development portfolio is diverse and includes more than the traditional commercial and industrial sectors. Arts, culture, heritage, tourism sectors are economic drivers. What would you do to enhance the city's commitments to arts, culture, and heritage?
We have a wonderful relationship with the Leamington Art Gallery. We support them every year financially. We have certainly helped them with the improvement to the building and the ability to have all sorts of events at that building. We work together with them also with Mill Street Market, so we certainly have a great relationship. Wonderful relationship also with the Bank Theatre. We support them financially, we help them get their building. all kinds of other events that go on, we help them as best we can. Historical Society as well gets financial support, so to me, I feel like we have it covered to the best of our ability. Maybe it isn't perfect as was stated before, but I do believe that we do not neglect this center of our community, as well as with sports and the other interests that folks might have, but definitely got arts and culture and heritage covered.
Thank you. You have a rebuttal, Chris?
You know, when you talk about culture, my daughter got a honorary mention in the art in the last time. I fully understand that, but this is something that you need to know. The building at 43 Mill Street West in Talbot was registered as and identified as having heritage value, the cultural heritage values and interest. Yet the municipality allowed the corporation that now owns that and paid $43 for it, totally deface it. And that cultural and heritage value was gone. So you cannot come here and say that we respect culture when you allow a private corporation to deface a building that has that value.
Ms. McDonald, you want to rebuttal?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a whole bunch of rebuttals because I just did my homework this afternoon. That property was appraised at $58,000, not the other amount that was just stated. I have the documentation. I can give you all the council meeting dates that this was discussed. This is the old Gregory building. We tried to sell it first to the Chamber of Commerce for $70,000, no takers. So what we did was put out a request for proposal and say, come and tell us what you want to do with this building. And we got to, and one of the ones that had the best idea is the one that won. And what was the other point, besides the 8 or however many 100,000? Oh, cultural heritage designation, no. Our own, what do you call that, heritage, what is that, Bill? The Heritage Committee, they looked at the building and they said there was no value. So I don't know where this information is coming from, but it's incorrect.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Next question goes to Hilda again. The Chamber co-authored a provincial policy paper advocating for a strategy of homelessness, addiction, and mental health that was anonymously accepted as part of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce provincial advocacy. Priorities for the next 3 years, both calling on higher levels of government to recognize and act on this sufficient issue. What actions can Leamington do to address the challenge in our community, and how are you prepared to address it?
We started addressing this problem in January of 2019 when a group of my friends from the faith community, who I see some here this evening, came forward and said, we need help with homelessness. We have people sleeping in the parking lots. So we started reaching out to the upper levels, and we found out that the City of Windsor is the fund manager for housing and homelessness. And we have started appealing to them. Well, we're not appealing anymore. We're now starting to talk tough. And we're telling them, you either give us a portion of this money or we're going right up to the province. We now have the Homelessness Hub. That is a resource place for homeless folks to go for food, for snacks, for a place to lay down. That's just the beginning. We're also having conversations with the City of Windsor for housing pods where they can, people that are in housing precarious state can find a place to sleep. So what are we doing? We are definitely appealing, and we're not doing it quietly.
Thank you. Now up to Chris, the same question. Thank you. The Chambers co-authored a provincial policy paper advocating for a strategy of homelessness, addiction, and mental health that was anonymously accepted as part of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce provincial advocacy. Priorities for the next 3 years, both calling on higher levels of government to recognize and act in this sufficient issue. What actions can Leamington do to address this challenge in our community, and how are you prepared to address it, Chris?
I want to tell you a little bit of a story. Not too long ago, a recognized by the police, OPP, and the staff at the different services as somebody with a handicap called the police because he wanted to complain about something that happened to him. It was all in his mind. The police came in, the result is that, sorry, can you hear me now? The police came in without specialists, provoked this individual, ended up assaulting the individual. The individual assaulted them back. He was taken to court, and duty counsel recommended him to plead guilty. The result of which is that now somebody that has a mental issue also has a criminal record. Next time, he's not going to be treated properly. We need friendly police. We need people that know what they're doing, and we need doctors and counselors in the city to provide proper service to these people. This is not acceptable.
Thank you, Mr. Byron. Same question for Mrs. McDonald. We know that the housing crisis is impacting far and wide across the country, and all levels of government are struggling to find solutions. What would be your approach to tackling the issue at a municipal level within a new Leamington Council agenda?
I guess I'm not telling the difference from the previous question, but I can just talk about homelessness for 10 minutes, so I'll just talk about it. So homelessness as we see it, that's what you asked me, right? David, did you ask me about?
Yes.
Okay, so again, the homelessness piece, we have this housing hub that was just opened up. Again, the county council, deputy mayor and myself sit on county council. We pushed at the county level and said, you need to also push to the city of Windsor to share that housing. So what are we doing? We've got this housing hub. They can come and they can get the care that they need. We're also looking at mental health and addictions. Today, we just had the ribbon cutting for a mental health mobile unit that will travel around the community, helping people that are in precarious situations, like homeless, like people with addictions and mental health issues that are on the street. Whether they're homeless or not, they need help. We will have that in place. So we'll just keep working together and push at those upper levels, Dave. That's the best that we can do, because that money does not come directly from taxpayers. It goes to the county levy.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Same question for Byron. Chris, we know that the housing crisis is impacting far and wide across the country, and all of our governments are struggling to find solutions. What would be your approach to tackling the issue at a municipal level within a new Leamington Council agenda?
Yes, the municipality bought not too long ago the old building for the high school and has a project to build houses there. I'm very concerned about that, simply because the way it is done, they hire Dillon Consulting to present the project. What are we doing? Are we going to create a government-managed ghetto? Is that what we're looking for? Are we going to communism? We're not supposed to buy properties to build houses. What we need to do is to invite the industry and the community to plan the building of houses. What are we going to do with these houses in the high school? Are we going to rent it? It's going to be rent to own? It's going to be property? If you look at public housing and government administrated housing in the rest of the province, you're going to see a real disaster. We're going straight to it, and that has to be prevented.
Next question is for Mrs. McDonald. Outside the key priorities already identified, such as homelessness, affordable housing, economic development, tell us about something you are personally passionate about that you want to work on if elected.
We have to keep the infrastructure being renewed as our infrastructure ages. And I know that folks like to tell us that we have the highest taxes in the region, but I will also tell you that we have the lowest average home assessment in the region. We also have the oldest infrastructure in the region. So for me, what it's going to be in the next 4 years is finding a balance, still renewing and keeping people in a community that has good sewers, good water lines, and yet also accommodating new growth at the same time, keeping in mind that we all like to have our Mill Street markets and our concerts and all our other amenities, baseball diamonds and soccer pitches. We have to find the balance over our wants and our needs, finding out what's affordable. So to me, infrastructure and balancing that in the next 4 years is going to be crucial based on the way the economy is going. Will it be challenging? You bet. Can we get there? I believe we can.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Next up, Mr. Garner. Outside of the key priorities already identified, such as the homelessness, affordable housing, economic development, tell us about something you are personally passionate about that you want to work on if elected.
Talking about taxes, it's inconceivable that the value of our properties is lower than the properties in our neighboring cities, and yet we pay way more taxes. And now we're hearing that we're going to work on it. When? We talk about 16 years of experience, we talk about a number of things, and yet today you have to pay taxes that are exorbitant compared to other cities. That should not happen. And that is very important. But what I want to stress is that we need transparency. There's a number of things that you don't know about what the municipality is doing. We need transparency. We need accountability. We need to consult our community every single step that we take. And that is not happening today. And with the political experience that we have in front of you, it's not going to happen. You need somebody that will represent your interest in the municipality, that will be an advocate in order for the municipality to work for you. You have to change.
Thank you, Mr. Garner.
You also need somebody that knows what they're talking about. The assessment value is not made up out of the air. It is done by impact, the provincial body that does the assessments. That's who says that the town of Kingsville's average home is $30,000 more than the one in Leamington. This is not something made up. Town of LaSalle is $100,000 more. So for us to do the exact same road means we have to charge our taxpayers more to make that same amount of money. People, this is simple math. If you don't get simple math, you don't deserve to sit in the chair because you are the one that's going to be taxing the people. I'm sorry, but I understand basic math.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald.
Please. It makes no sense.
Hang on, Chris wants a rebuttal. Yes?
It makes no sense that saying that the math is there when you are paying more taxes for a property that has a lesser value than in other cities. What she's telling us is that we need to get money from you in order to get the money to work the city. But our city doesn't need to pay all this money. We need to have a close look at how the taxes are calculated. Of course, impact decides the assessment, but it's the municipality the one that decides what the taxes you pay.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, next question, it goes to Chris. The municipality of Leamington has collaborated with many organizations for the betterment of the community. The Chamber of Commerce being one of them. If elected, what's your vision for continued collaboration during your term?
It is of vital importance that we work with the community and all the organizations that are in our community, because we need the input of people that can advise us on how to best represent the interest of the community and of Leamington in order to make a progressive and developed city. Our relationship with every single organization that has an interest in participating in democracy and in developing our city, we have to have very close relationship with them, and we have to listen to what they have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Mrs. McDonald, same question. The municipality of Leamington has collaborated with many organizations for the betterment of the community. The Chamber of Commerce being one of them. If elected, what's your vision for the continued collaboration during your term?
With the Chamber of Commerce, we've had a varied relationship. At one point in time, they did quite a bit of our tourism aspect. Then we decided it was time for us to take a little bit of control. And then, of course, again, the pandemic happened and we pulled back. But Chamber of Commerce is really about business. And to me, they are the gauge and the temperature taker of the businesses that are in the community. And we need to use them as a liaison between the businesses for us to have a good grasp on what they're facing. And to me, they are key in that relationship, and we will need to, and we will continue. We have a great relationship with the Chamber. And again, the tourism piece, I predict will evolve again as tourism starts to open up even more. So I see a multifaceted relationship with the Chamber.
Thank you, Hilda. Okay, the next question goes to Hilda. As the voice of our members and as the largest business organization in the area, the Leamington District Chamber of Commerce frequently hears about the cost of doing business in our community and appreciates the efforts of City Council over the years to maintain a focus on one of our signature policies, tax ratio fairness between residential, commercial, and industrial tax ratios. What do you see will be the key challenges to developing the 2023 municipal budget?
We do have some new subdivisions that are coming online in probably announcements coming in early 2023, and it's substantial. Upwards of 400 units, and that is a good increase for the tax base. Our problem with the industry in our communities is primarily agri-food. Again, no complaints whatsoever. They certainly have put us on the map. But agri-food only pays 25% of what residential does. So if you compare us to, say, Lakeshore that have heavy industry is assessed at, I believe it's 198%. So that it's double what residential pays. So this will always be a challenge to us. Hopefully we can see some changes, even if just the industrial or just the packing and the shipping piece could maybe sometime be changed to a special rate that would give us some increase. And also we're looking for the province to take over and give us the extra money.
Same question for Chris. Prior, as a voice of our members and as the largest business organization in the area, the Leamington District Chamber of Commerce frequently hears about the cost of doing business in our community and appreciates the effort of City Council over the years to maintain a focus on one of our signature policies, tax ratio fairness between residential, commercial, and industrial tax ratios. What do you see will be the key challenges to developing the 2023 municipal budget? Chris?
Thank you. We have to understand the nature of our town. We are essentially an agricultural city. And we have to take a look at the taxes and how to assess taxes in order to make the city work in a balanced situation. So once again, we need to take a close look at how we calculate the taxes and how we portion everybody's taxes. It's very, very important. And my friend, McDonald has the benefit of being there and having personal access to information that we don't have. But as soon as I get there, I will put myself to work to fix the problem of taxation in this city. We cannot tolerate that people are paying taxes that are exorbitant. And at the same time, we have to manage a good budget. And I will have the input and the assessment of professionals to do that. Thank you.
I'd like to rebut that.
Mr. McDonald?
Public information. This is public information. The County of Essex determines what that ratio is. The 25% residential, the 108% for commercial, and 198 for for industrial, and then the 25% for agri-food. That is determined, that is out there. If you're going to talk about taxes, you need to do your homework.
This next question is for Chris. Byron, this is your opportunity to tell us something that sets you apart from the other candidates. How are you uniquely qualified to fill the role as mayor?
This is a very simple answer to me. I'm not a professional politician and I will never be one. I'm an advocate. My role in the municipality will be that of an auditor, to be certain that everybody's doing the job that we as a community expect from them. Clarity, transparency, I'm not gonna get tired of telling you that. It's important that you know what the municipality is doing. Not making resolution at closed doors, not making resolution based on secret reports. We need transparency, and that's what you're gonna get. I'm gonna be there not as your representative, but as your public servant. And my door, the doors of the office, will be open to everybody to come, and we treat them with honesty, with clarity, with responsibility, and with respect. That is very important, and that's what I can bring to the municipality. I'm perfectly capable and skillful in order to do that. Over 35 years of
Thank you.
experience doing it.
Thank you, Chris. Same question for Mrs. McDonald. This is your opportunity to tell us something that sets you apart from the other candidates. How are you uniquely qualified to fill the role as mayor?
I will own up to the fact that I'm a professional politician because the minute you get paid is the minute you become a professional politician. I have experience and I have knowledge. I think it's very evident here tonight who has the experience and who has the knowledge, because it has taken me 16 years to learn all the things that I have. It's obvious that some things need to be learned in order to do the business. And if you don't know how to do it, then I'm sorry, then I can't help you. But I believe that I have had a good record. I'm ethical, I'm honest, and I'm not afraid to tell you the truth, whether some people like to hear it or not. I believe I have led a good example as a leader of council. My fellow councillors have been an incredible team. I do believe we can go on into the future doing the same thing based on integrity, based on honesty, and no matter what anybody says, we are transparent because the Municipal Act makes us be transparent and we follow those rules to the letter. So I also follow rules. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald.
Listen, when somebody tells you that the municipality is transparent and you don't know what happens in closed door resolutions based on secret reports, that is a concern of mine. You can be transparent, go into closed doors, nobody can hear what you're doing based on secret reports, and then make resolutions that people don't know about it. You cannot tell me that the municipality is transparent in what they do. That is a fallacy, and that is certainly not true, and I say this with all due respect. But we need to know what the municipality is doing, and people don't know. And that's what I offer you. Transparency and clarity every time that we do anything. It will not be secret meetings.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, each candidate's going to be allowed 1 minute to close. We're going to start with Chris. Closing statement. You got 1 minute, please.
Once again, we need new faces. We need to think out of the box. We need to be creative, and we need to get the input from the community. We need to get the advice that is necessary for us to make the proper decisions. You should be able to make decisions once you are well informed. You cannot make decisions if you don't know what's going on. That's what I bring to you. I bring to you the clarity and the knowledge that will allow you to be happy in a city that will progress and develop according to our best interests. Please believe me, a municipality as I vision it is totally different from what we have today. No more 3 years to ask for a license. No more 8 months to get a permit. No more thinking of volunteers to help our businesses. We need to take a proactive action in order to make this city a great city, and I'm perfectly able to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden. Mrs. McDonald, you have 1 minute for closing.
Experience is knowledge. It teaches us what is and isn't possible. And it gives you the ability to know what you can change and what you can only influence to change. The next 4 years will be challenging and yet interesting on many fronts. The economy is going to determine what we can afford. Increased residential growth is coming, and that's going to share the tax burden over more properties. The return to tourism opportunities means we need to engage more with our partners to offer great experiences, sharing the cost and sharing the work. As the agri-industry continues to grow, we need to work to find the balance between economic development and quality of life for residents. I'll continue to work hard at improving that quality of life for all residents who call Leamington home. Vote for me, Hilda McDonald, for Mayor of Leamington. Thank you.
Mr. McDonald. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break while we switch up the mayors to the deputy mayors. Deputy mayors, for the first question, we'll go to Larry Verbeke.
Good evening, everyone. There's one thing we all have in common in this room, and there's a lot of you here. Everyone here tonight in attendance all care about this town. And you are all here to make sure that I care about this town also. And my short answer is yes. But just let me show you. My name is Larry Verbeke, and it would be your honor to serve as your deputy mayor again for the town of Leamington, a town that we all love and cherish so much. Over the last almost 12 years on council, with the last 4 years as your deputy mayor, I have gained not only the experience, but the knowledge of politics, procedure, of municipal, provincial, and even at the federal level. While I know many of us have seen our fair share of tough times over the past few years, I have the confidence that we can all find a common ground in wanting what's best for Leamington. We need more than just campaign promises. You have had your confidence in me for the last 12 years, and I'm asking you here today to put your confidence in me once again. And just as a side note, while I still have time, I went to the town hall to pick up my mail, and I got motioned over by the deputy clerk that I was not on the voting list. So I did what I had to do. My wife was with me. We gave our photo ID, almost swore an oath and that too. So that's because that was an impact thing. I got my federal notice, I got my provincial notice, but impact is the municipal. So above all, if you're not sure, please call the town hall and see if you can vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Peppermeyer, would you like the opening statements, please?
Thank you, and thanks to everyone for attending tonight. These are very important exercises in community spirit, and I appreciate you being here. My name is John Toffelmeyer, and I was born and raised here in Leamington on the family farm halfway between Leamington and Wheatley. I still call it Old Highway 3. It's County Road 34. I graduated from University of Waterloo. I've been a professional engineer for about 45 years now. And my last 40 years, I've been working here in Windsor, Leamington, and Essex County. I was 25 years as a department head and city engineer and general manager of infrastructure services in Windsor. I came to Leamington in 2006 because I wanted to retire back to my farm here, and because I've been a Leamington booster for my whole life. I retired from my public sector career in 2011, and the last 10 years I've been working as a consulting engineer. I retired in this past February. As Director of Community Services, I effectively replaced Rick Atkin here in Leamington, and I worked on major projects, the extension of, the construction of the East Arturo Road, the pollution control plant, the marina, the Seacliff Park, the trail, and the tornado cleanup of 2010. I've worked under 9 different mayors. That's just to illustrate, the ability to do teamwork and to adapt to different styles of leadership. And I decided to run for office as deputy mayor because I think I can apply my 40 years of local experience and my experience is regional, so that includes membership on Essex County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Tuffmeyer. Okay, the first question goes to Mr. Larry Berbeke. Tourism has been particularly hard hit over the last couple of years, and now, as we find ourselves in the recovery phase, it continues to face challenges such as labor shortages. With the importance of tourism to this region, how do you see the municipality supporting this sector over the next 4 years?
Well, I guess we're gonna have to, put our boots to the ground again. We need also agritourism. I can see would be a big part here too. What we have to do is probably get partners to work with us. We have, Tweppy is up there, and they've been, a lot better to us in the last 4 or 5 years than they've ever been. I believe that tourism is needed, but I had a business back in 2000 when 9/11 hit. It shut it down. Now everybody had a business now with this pandemic. It shut it down. It's kind of hard to bounce back, but we will do it. And I believe that people want to come here to see how things are growing.
Thank you. Next, same question from Mr. John Tuffmeyer. Tourism has been particularly hard hit over the last couple of years, and now as we find ourselves in the recovery phase, it continues to face challenges such as labor shortages. With the importance of tourism to this region, how do you see the municipality supporting this sector over the next 4 years?
I think that we have a big opportunity here in Leamington in what has become known as ecotourism. I think that even though Point Pelee National Park has the highest attendance of national parks, I think we still undervalue it or underappreciate it. I think we need to improve accessibility through improvements to County Road 33 to the park, and I think we need to improve active transportation between the park and, for example, the Hillman Marsh. I think that there are international markets for ecotourism, and I think we have such a unique location here on 42 that we can take advantage of that. So I think that's the principal thing, in addition to the reinforcement of our existing relationships across the county and within the industry.
John? Next question will be going out to Mr. Larry Berbeke. Recently, there has been quite a bit of public discussion on the Leamington reserves. Reserves are typically part of an overall strategy for a long-term funding sustainability. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, I would like to say thank you to the people that have been putting the money away. There's money available now for shovel-ready projects that are coming down the pipeline. We can spend about 10 million to that, but we want to make sure that it's in the right direction. We're probably going to need a new fire hall, police station, fire truck, public board of works building. There's so much money that's going to be needed shortly in the next 5 to 10 years that our reserves are healthy enough that will support that we won't have to go back to the taxpayer to get money from them. So I believe that there's really no discussion on our reserves. A lot of people would be very happy if they had our reserves.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. John Tuffmeyer. Recently, there has been quite a bit of public discussion on the Leamington reserves. Reserves are typically part of an overall strategy for long-term funding sustainability. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, my first thought when I saw the positive balances in the reserve fund was, thank you, I am a happy person, because reserve funds are so important to the fundamental financial strategy of a municipality. I can't begin to describe it. As a person who for 30 years was relying on budgets to be approved for projects that people were passionate about, I know the value of having that money available. So you can't underestimate the value of reserve funds. They are reserved, by the way. They need to be treated as if they are already allocated. When you go to a restaurant and you've reserved a table, you don't expect them to give it away to somebody else. It's got to be there for the purpose that you need it for. there are always challenges during municipal budgets. I've done 32 of them, and they're all challenging. So I don't expect that to change.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Next question goes out to John. Outside of the key priorities already identified, such as the homelessness, affordability, housing, economic development, tell us about something you are personally passionate about that you want to work on if elected, John.
I'm going to choose the file of active transportation. I spearheaded the very first active transportation master plan in Windsor in about the year 2001 or so, and that was the basis of the county-wide active transportation strategy. Leamington has piggybacked on that to have our own active transportation strategy. I believe that, especially here, where we have such a high proportion of workers who rely on bicycles, pedestrian safety, and also whether you call it climate change or just a move to more ecologically friendly transportation modes, that it's something we need to do for our community in the future, and that's a big priority for me.
Thank you, John. Back to you, Larry. Same question. Outside of the key priorities already identified, such as the homelessness, affordable housing, economic development, tell us about something you are personally passionate about that you want to work on if elected.
Well, mine would probably be the North Trunk Line. Environmentally, if we can get that North Trunk Line out there, we have $72,000 already. Boy, isn't that nice to have that reserve? $72,000 to put that trunk line there. We need to get the farmers to have their houses on the farm, which they want. That would free up a lot of houses that are in town right now that could be used for low-income housing. It's just, that's my goal, is just to get that North Trunk Line put through with the help of the federal and provincial government.
Thank you, Larry. The next question is back to Larry. The municipality of Leamington has collaborated with many organizations for the betterment of the community, the Chamber of Commerce being one of them. If elected, what's your vision for continued?
Well, as a past president of the Chamber of Commerce and sitting on the Chamber of Commerce now as an ex officiato, I don't have a vote there, I'm very passionate about the Chamber of Commerce. We need them. We give them money, a grant. They're there to also represent the business. If the businesses need them, they're there. And during this past little bit with the COVID, I don't like using the word, but with the test kits and all that too, they've been there at the forefront, and they're always out there trying to promote breakfast and learning things, and you got to go to them. So I am very passionate about the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Larry. The next question going out to John. Elected officials often make decisions which outlive their term on council and have an impact on implications on the future decisions in the municipality. Please share with the audience what your process is for making decisions. What your process is for making decisions, John.
Okay, thank you. Very good question. I am first of all, a communicator and a collaborator, and I believe in trying to touch all the bases in the process of making decisions. I don't think there's any substitute for the hard work that comes with that, and that's the commitment that I would make to that question. You have to be able to deal with a wide range of and variety of interests or points of view, but when you do get down to it, you have to make a decision. It may not make everybody happy. I think that's been said here before tonight, but that's the reality of it. I have been involved in very controversial and long-term decisions. The border file comes to mind. So it's not something that would be new to me.
Thank you, Larry, thank you, John. The next question is still with Larry. Elected officials often make decisions which will outlive their term on council and have an impact or implications on further decisions in the municipality. Please share with the audience what your process in making decisions is would be.
Well, the process is what it is. It's majority rules. There's 7 of us on the board. 4 of us agree. 3 of us don't. It goes by, and we're still friends at the end. But when you get on council, the first excursion you do is you go and talk about your dreams. What do we want for this town in 20 years? So in 2010, when I got here, some of those dreams are now coming to the forefront. I can see what we talked about then. Never thinking we're going to need it, but here we are. But I rely on the staff because they're supposed to be the experts to make our decision. And like I was telling somebody today, I can read the agenda 2 or 3 times. I can come to the council meeting, and then the administration person reads it to me, and I get a different view of it. So I'm open all the time. The process of making decision is based on a democratic process.
Thank you, Larry. Our next question goes back to Larry. Tell us on your thoughts on what you consider to be the opportunities for the municipality going forward.
To me, the thoughts going forward are just keep doing what we're doing. We have to, well, I guess I like to see what really makes me mad when they say they're widening the highway from Windsor to Leamington. Now let's get it to 77 or back to the old number 3, so we can get stuff moving. My other thoughts are we're trying now. We have a liaison to try to get your building permits to tell you where they're at. So just the thoughts of getting through the next years would be that we all have to work together, and nobody's in charge. You just have to make your thoughts out there and live by the decisions you make.
Okay, Larry, same question to you, John. Tell us your thoughts on what you consider to be the opportunities for the municipality going forward.
I think that there will be a lot of opportunities that come about from the continued implementation of the Uptown Master Plan and the beginning of the implementation of the Waterfront Master Plan. And I would think there will be opportunities to promote those jointly, some back and forth with that. I already spoke about ecotourism, which I think is a huge opportunity. I think that there's more opportunity to maximize spin-offs from the greenhouse industry and the support types of industries going forward. And I'd also like to promote more community partnerships with greenhouse vegetable growers as well. We've scratched the surface, I think, with the Nature Fresh and the Marina and Seacliff. And I think there's more we can do there. And in fact, I think we can promote capital partnerships, because I think, for example, active transportation links up perfectly.
Okay, next question goes back to John. Leamington has become a very diverse community. How do you see Leamington celebrating their diversity?
I love that question, because I grew up with the waves of post-World War II immigration, and I remember, lodges or bunkhouses or workhouses and such for people coming in the 1950s, and to now see the mature relationships and communities that have developed is a great thing. And I think it's just expanding and evolving more as the world becomes more integrated and, in fact, smaller. It's disappointing to see the conflicts that happen, but I love the idea of cultural celebrations. And when we did the Uptown Master Plan, for example, we created a number of small areas that can be used for individual cultural celebrations And working the Indigenous people in community into that too has become really important.
Thank you, John. Same question for you, Larry. Leamington has become a very diverse community. How do you see Leamington celebrating our diversity?
Well, if you're able to go to Carousel Nations, that is one of the best things to try different food, different cultures. Last week we just had the Festival of Nations that deals with about 7 or 8 different foreign countries for our foreign temporary workers. We learn from them, we eat their food. It's just a great culture. And I remember back when Leamington celebrated their centennial, 74. I know our group, the Belgians, were parked in front of the old Dixie Autoland, giving away our cookies and stuff like that too. And I kind of miss that. There's enough different ethnic people here now in our community that I think we can probably do that. And I just look forward to, like I say, I work with 4 offshore workers every day. You know, they're great people. And when we have company come down, we go to a restaurant and they're just amazed that our streets are still busy at 8, 9 o'clock at night. I mean, we got to look forward
Thank you, Larry. Okay, this is your opportunity to tell us something that sets you apart from our other candidates. How are you uniquely qualified to fill our deputy mayor's role, Larry?
Well, I hate using it sounds like I'm old, but experience, connections. I've been in the farming for over 40 years. I've made a lot of friends in Ottawa and Toronto. They're my go-to people that I go to. I believe that experience is the number one. But if you don't like that, I can't help that. That's how I am. I am who I am. I say what I mean. I help out when I can. So I do believe that I can be your voice again. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Same question for you, John. This is your opportunity to tell us something that sets you apart from the other candidates. How are you uniquely qualified to fill the role as deputy mayor?
Well, as I said in my introductory remarks, I've been working at a senior administrative level for municipalities, Windsor, Leamington, and Essex County since 1981. And I've estimated that I attended somewhere in the order of 1,500 council meetings, if you can believe that, because budget meetings, council meetings, public meetings of all sorts, they just happen regularly. So I think I have a great deal of experience and a great background that I'm basically putting forward to the community that I think can take advantage of. And it is regional experience, so that means that I can fit right in at the Essex County Council level, and that's what I intend to do if I'm elected as deputy mayor.
Thank you, John. Each candidate will get a 1-minute closing statement. The order will be in reverse order to the opening remarks. The moderator will join the deputy mayors following the closing statements. John, you're first, please.
Well, as I said somewhere along the line there, I've been a Leamington booster my entire life. All of my friends when I was at university or working in Halifax or working in Edmonton, whatever, they all now know where Leamington is. I'm passionate about it. I grew up in a family where my dad was involved in municipal politics, so I've been at it for a very long time. Couple that with the experience that I just spoke about, I think I'm a pretty good candidate for this job, and I look forward to your support.
Thank you, John. Go ahead, Larry.
Thank you. Leamington has some great challenges ahead of it, but with these challenges come great opportunities. With your help on October the 24th, I ask you to elect me, Larry Verbeke, as your deputy mayor, so we can make these the best years that Leamington has ever seen. But with my experience of 12 years on council, I know firsthand the time it takes and the effort it takes to get things done in our municipality. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that gets done before council and the hardworking staff at town hall. I'm here to promote our town as a major tourist destination. We all have the marina, the pier, the amphitheater, Seacliff Park, Point Peely, the sporting facilities, and one-of-kind restaurants, and your local businesses, to just name a few. We need a team. Nothing is more important than working together. I am a team player. Together, everybody achieves more. And with the community by my side, it would be a privilege to serve as your deputy mayor. On October the 24th, you have a chance to pick your team. Your choice, your voice, your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll hear from our other candidates. Okay, before we call up our first candidate, we'll go over the rules. Timing, the yellow card is 15 seconds. The red card, 0 seconds. The moderator will cut off the candidate. Introduce each candidate as they come up to the podium. First one up, a big hand for Anthony Abraham.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Abraham, and I'm a dedicated husband to my beautiful wife, somewhere over there. There she is. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings, a passionate nurse, and above, or equally to, a small business owner. I am running for the position of town councillor in the 2022 municipal election. I have been a nurse for over 10 years and currently own and operate New Beginnings Rest Home and have also started a first aid and CPR training company. I come from an immigrant family and was raised with a strong work ethic. I'm running for this position because I care deeply about the community that has helped shape me into the man that I am today. I want to advocate for better services to our community's most vulnerable peoples, helping them reach their maximum potential. As our town grows, I want to advocate for a better funded security service, focusing on a modern and effective police service. I also want to strongly advocate for full-time fire and rescue services. I want to prioritize growing our tourism industry to reach its full potential. I want to encourage the development of our beautiful waterfront, build on the tourists that we already draw from Point Pelee, and most importantly, consult with those who are in the industry. I want to continue to maintain, upgrade, and expand our infrastructure of utilities to promote the growth of family homes and new businesses. As our population grows and as our guest population increases, I want to advocate for more accessible transportation services and continue to build up our public transit service. And last, but certainly not least, I want to advocate for economic development. We have a tremendous amount of untapped potential in this town, and it is time we put it to use. I want to be a voice in expediting permits, modernizing the process for new homes and businesses with dedicated timelines, and encourage our council and our citizens to promote a healthy private sector. Young Leamingtonites depend on the decisions that we make today to ensure a sustainable and prosperous future. I'd like to close with a quote that is near and dear to me. You cannot go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. From C.S. Lewis. My name is Anthony Abraham, and I appreciate your consideration to vote for me in this upcoming municipal election. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Our next candidate is Tara Adams. Could I have a big hand for Tara Adams, please?
Thomas Reed said it best when he said, "A chain is no stronger than its weakest link." Fellow community members and candidates, thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for organizing and to the Roma Club for hosting this event. I am thrilled to be here. The words Thomas Reed spoke in 1786 can also be equated to community. A community is no stronger than its weakest member. Sorry, I'm nervous. As we've all noticed, some of our community members are struggling. The opioid crisis, homelessness, and mental health concerns have never been more evident than they are right now. A post-pandemic epidemic. As a nurse and an addictions counselor, I have worked in methadone clinics and have met many people caught up in addictions. These are good people on dangerous paths, and our community needs to do better at reaching out. My platform has been hashtag caring for our community. And that is exactly my plan as a member of town council. One benefit COVID provided was digital access to Leamington Town Council meetings. I have binge watched every meeting of 2022. I have watched council approve rezonings, community improvement plans, the purchase of Fire Engine 144, and I've learned of the potential awaiting expansion of our fire services, including a new tower truck in the very near future. I have watched council donate bleachers from the old LDSS and Sun Parlor Rodeo and waive the amphitheater fees for Hogs for Hospice. I have learned to understand the importance of infrastructure and water and sewage management by listening to department heads present plans and objectives. I have watched it all. All of that is outstanding, but ultimately, if we have community members suffering, all the upgrades in the world will not allow Leamington to thrive as a whole. I have spent the last several weeks researching resources, meeting with community partners, and curating posts on my Facebook page, Tara Adams for Town Council, where I've been providing information about learned resources specific to Leamington. There are an abundant amount of resources available for residents facing various hardships in our community, but the problem I see is the communication between resources and the community, as well as community partners within themselves. In order to provide ideal situation of supports, our overall communication needs to improve immensely. We have become a community that wants safer streets, but only if it doesn't affect their neighborhood. We have become a community that complains about crime, but refuses safe injection sites. We have become a community that will plaster the worst of Leamington on social media and yet not donate to our local churches that are trying to help. Instead, let's be known as the community that will do whatever it takes to help all of our members. So I am here tonight to ask for your vote so that I can help in the efforts to see Leamington thrive as a whole for caring for my community.
Thank you, Carol. Our next candidate is Gerald Barrows. A big hand for Gerald Barrows, please.
Hello, my name is Gerald Barrows, and born and raised in Leamington, Ontario. I own my own business. I support our farm worker business and migrant workers. They depend on my business across Ontario and Leamington. I'm here applying for town council for a better community and help out develop Leamington for a better place to live. Thank you very much. Vote for me on October 24th.
Thank you, Gerald. Our next candidate up, a big hand for Bill Dunn, please.
Good evening, everyone. My thoughts on where we have been and where we need to go. Because of COVID, some businesses people did very well, others struggled and failed. This last year, we saw food, rents, and housing costs skyrocket. That's why I believe we should be very strategic in our spending at the town. We on council voted for a 0% tax increase during the pandemic, and only 3% this last year. We voted not to take a wage increase. We supported the purchase of the old high school lands, and I would like to see them developed into affordable, attainable housing. We also replaced our aging buses and added a bus service to Windsor to help students and residents with appointments that don't have a car or are unable to drive. I am proud of the investment we made into our parks with new equipment, dugouts at the baseball diamonds, and paving of the parking lot. And I'm excited to see the redesign of Mercia Park with new washrooms and a splash pad, and the lighting to be installed at the skate park. I would also like to see the bike and walking path to Point Gilly National Park be completed. I have heard that from many residents that our sports facilities are among the best in southwestern Ontario. We should promote hockey, baseball, and soccer tournaments for all ages. It is a great tourist draw and helps our local economy and showcases our town. This improves the quality of life for our residents. We need to continue investing in our waterfront and uptown, as they are truly some of the jewels in our community.
We should expand the Summer on the 42nd concert series and the Mill Street Night Market for our residents and businesses because it welcomes tourism. Our partnership with the Bank Theatre and the Arts Center has proven to be a huge success. I would like to see the old tomato restored as a tourist information booth. It is unique and a piece of art history in Leamington. I have had many residents complain to me about speeding throughout our community with concerns for children and bikes. This is why I think we need speeding cameras. I would like to see them in our community in hot spots and possibly change them from time to time to stop speeding. I believe it would help free up resources allowing police patrols to help with security and crime. We must continue to invest in our assets and infrastructure, like replacing our combined sewers and exploring more options to get the sewers to the north. We have currently finished a service review of our building and planning departments to help cut down on red tape and give the staff the tools and resources to improve and speed up permit processing. This will help with business retention and expansion as well as new growth. I love and am very passionate about our town, and I listen and respond to all who reach out to me. I hope you'll give me the opportunity to continue to work as your councillor to make Leamington a better place to live, work, and play.
Thank you, Bill. Our next candidate is Derek Friesen. A big hand for Derek Friesen, please.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. I would also like to thank the Roma Club for hosting us and the Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event. By a show of hands, how many of you have lived in Leamington your whole life? That's great. And the rest of you have obviously chosen to make Leamington your home, which is a very wonderful and special thing. And you are all engaged in this process that is going to set the course for Leamington in the years to come. I'm committed to using common sense when it comes to spending our common dollars. This applies not only to what our tax dollars are spent on, but how they are being spent. For example, when a road needs to be redone, I'll drive around that area and consider how the proposed changes will affect those who drive there every day. But we can't just invest in infrastructure. We also have to invest in people. I want to have a community where everyone feels that their input is acknowledged and valued. Together, let's make Leamington the best place to live, play, and work. I'm also committed to cutting red tape because small business is a big deal. And I want to promote tourism by building the Leamington brand. Leamington has such great tourism potential, but we lack the marketing to get us there. Leamington was on the right track a few years ago with economic development and tourism. So I want to look at those programs that never got off the ground and get them working for Leamington. Part of building the Leamington brand also includes forging a stronger relationship with the Caldwell First Nation. Since 2014, I have been the only candidate who has listed that in my platform. I have the experience of being on the Committee of Adjustment, the Police Services Board, and the Community Policing Advisory Committee. I've also previously served on the Board of Directors for the Leamington Arts Center, the Fundraising Committee for the Bank Theatre, and the Red Shoe Society of Windsor-Essex, which raises money for the Ronald McDonald House charities. I will bring my experience and fresh ideas to the council table. And an undeniable need in our community is for affordable housing. During the 2018 campaign, one thing that a lot of people mentioned was the desire to see the old LDSS building developed into affordable housing. I was committed to it then, and if elected now, I will see that project through. I am committed to being a strong voice for you at the council table. I am committed to getting things done. And most importantly, I am committed to community. My name is Derek Friesen, and I really appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Our next candidate is Heather Latham. A big hand for Heather Latham, please.
I truly think this is the biggest podium ever. I feel like I'm tiny. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank the Leamington District Chamber of Commerce for putting on this evening. And I'd especially like to thank each and every one of you for being here. As the residents of our town, it is so important to arm yourself with the knowledge to make an informed choice on October 24th. My name is Heather Latham. My pronouns are she and her. My visionary leadership style and strong belief in equity motivates me to act, to help enact change. I employ love, a passion for learning, and communication. My superpower is multitasking. 3 minutes is what we've been given to speak, rather than me telling you about my education and my degrees, my volunteer service, and any awards or certificates that I've won. I want you to know me and offer you the information you need to choose me to continue in the role of councillor for our municipality. As the newest member of Town Council, I have proven that I will not just be a seat filler. I am determined to continue serving the needs of our community and continuing our journey toward progress, equity, and transparency. It became apparent to me how much there is to learn and how long it takes to truly be up to speed with everything there is to know. I have watched and rewatched several previous meetings and continually ask questions both on and off camera. This has taught me that there is something to be said for having experienced people on council. Rather than make promises that I may not be able to fulfill because they are the responsibility of other levels of government, I want to impart to you what is important to me as a resident of this community and as a local leader. We need to work on our town's brand and put us back on the map as a tourist destination. There are so many small businesses that depend on tourism to thrive. The continued work on the waterfront and the uptown projects will help with rebranding our town. We need to invest in ecotourism. The greenhouse industry has grown far faster and bigger than anyone could have imagined. We now need to ensure that we catch up and properly protect our resources, the migratory species, and the environmental impacts of the industry, as well as continue to lobby the upper levels of government to change the way these farms are taxed. With 20% of our children living in poverty in our community, we need to do better to help those experiencing food insecurity and homelessness. Working with community resources, we can support these people. Thank you for listening so carefully tonight. When casting your vote on October 24th, please remember the importance of knowledge, commitment, and experience, and vote for Heather Latham.
Thank you, Heather. Our next candidate, Christine Lynn. Can you please give a big hand to Christine Lynn, please?
Good evening. I'm Christine Lane, Executive Director of the Half Century Center. I grew up in Leamington on a family farm, and over the years I have owned and operated a bookkeeping business, managed McDonald's, and worked at St. Creon while returning to university, which brought me to my current position. Along with raising 3 children and my career obligations, I've coached minor ball, served on the PTA Gore Hill, served on the UMEI school board, and I'm currently a member of the municipality's senior advisory committee. I also continue to coordinate an income tax clinic for low-income people which prepares and files their taxes free of charge. My experiences have taught me how to view issues from a variety of perspectives, from sole proprietor, assistant manager, union employee, and executive director. Balance is the key to success. In our personal lives, we balance our budgets, our diets, our work and social lives in order to live a happy life. The same is true for town council. Balance must be obtained to maintain infrastructure, economic growth, tourism, small businesses, and the uptown, among others, to ensure a viable downtown. With degrees in disability studies and business administration accounting, I believe I have the balance to tackle the needs of the community. From listening to people, I hear some of their concerns. Some would like an improvement to the waterfront. Well, the municipality already has a master plan in place that will take many years to complete, but some of the improvements have already been made. I do support improving the waterfront for both residents and tourists. I also hear about the infrastructure needs to support growth in industry. This includes the greenhouses and the concessions that bear the weights of the semis. Storm sewers in town must also be upgraded to reduce resident flooding. Again, there are plans in place to tackle these issues. However, I believe council can take another look to see if there's a better option for a quicker resolve to these issues. Our homeless population is growing, and some of these people suffer from mental health issues or addictions. I would like to encourage more professionals to come to Leamington to work with this population. South Essex Community Council has begun a drop-in center. Maryvale has an office to help youth with challenges, but more can and must be done. Open communication between council, town employees, and residents is vital. An informed candidate will know what council is working on and what possible improvements have been overlooked. I could make promises to fix everything, but realistically, we must balance the improvements required with keeping property taxes in line with the restrictions of IRCA, the provincial, and the federal governments. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Our next candidate is Dave Metcalf. Big hand for Dave Metcalf, please.
Hello, my name is Dave Metcalf, and I'm asking for your vote for Leamington Council. I'd like to thank the Leamington District Chamber of Commerce for inviting us here, the Roma Club for hosting us, and for all those others that are present. It might be noted that there's a huge interest in this election, and that might be a reflection that people are feeling there is a need for change from the status quo. The Bible Proverbs 20:19 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. The municipal level of government is where it all begins. It's important that the local government be seen as an aid to the people, not a hindrance. As a senior, I feel the need to carefully feed the young people of our community, not just put the crumbs off our table, but with a hope and a vision that they too have a future, not just as good as ours, but better. Perhaps we can develop community projects that might involve seniors and the juniors working together. One such project I mentioned before might be developing across the municipality community gardens, an idea whose time has come again. Residential property taxes seem high. Local crime an issue, yes. Do we need to look at sewer, road, and infrastructure? All yes, all mentioned earlier. Do we need to look at turnaround time for building permits and the like? Absolutely. And do we need to help the hurting, such as the drug addicted and the homeless? Absolutely. One other concern I haven't heard mentioned too much tonight, but it is the environment. The air, water, and land we need to be taken care of. The municipality must ensure that all materials in its projects that it executes are ethically sourced. When was the last time somebody mentioned to you that the car that you drive, your e-vehicle, may contain raw materials that are mined through the efforts of child labor in developing countries, according to Amnesty International? Also, according to the World Economic Forum, as found on their website, worldwide, we do not have the raw materials available to meet the demands for vehicle electrification into the foreseeable future. Regarding other energy, like everything else, there is a risk and a benefit to be considered. North of the 42nd parallel, Canada is a colder climate than most countries, including those other heavily populated countries who, in the name of fairness, have been made exempt from carbon penalties and targets when trying to conform to international green objectives. We need an infrastructure and energy to support our existence. In Canada, we have an abundant supply of secure natural gas that should be maintained until and unless the technology is sufficiently developed to move away from natural gas, if that is what is required. So how does that relate to Leamington going forward? Well, simply ensure that our civic and civil engineers present clear alternative choices in terms of local projects for pipelines, sewers, infrastructure that will examine not only the cost of a project, but the effect on people's lives and their livelihoods. The job of council is not just to rubber stamp projects, but to step back and consider the impact
Thank you, Dave.
on others. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Christine Montgomery. Please give a big hand to Christine Montgomery, please.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. My name is Christine Montgomery and I'm running for town council. I just want to tell you, instead of reading my resume to you tonight, I just want to tell you why I'm running. I'm running because I love Leamington. I love its people. I've had the privilege of working with the newcomers in our community for a number of years, as well as vulnerable youth. I also volunteer on the streets. I've met the homeless. I've heard their stories. I want you to know that improving the situation for some of these people is crucial for our community. Leamington is a town. We're only a community if we're connected. The connections that we have with one another make us a community. And when we have people that are weak and suffering, we're all weak and suffering. We can't isolate them and we can't look down on them. The people that are on the streets, they're there because they've lost their way. They've lost their way and they don't know how to get back. And they're hurting. And they're scared. And they're somebody's daughter and somebody's son. It could be your mother or your father or your cousin or someone you went to school with. These are not people that are bussed in. I've heard stories about that. I've never met a person on our streets that was bussed in from somewhere else. These are people from Leamington. The last couple of years was detrimental to our children. We've got kids that they don't have a lot of resiliency, despite what you might think. I've got a kid going through high school that really hasn't had an education because she hasn't been in the classroom. Online learning isn't the same. And I don't know how kids do JK and SK online. That's not fair. The other thing I just wanted to speak briefly to you about is the diversity of our town. And I love that all of you guys came, but we're underrepresented. We're underrepresented here tonight. There's so many people with so many stories, and I wish that everybody would just take time to get to know them. And I don't have time to share, but I would love to share with any of you. I would like to be on council because I want Leamington to be better. And I want to have a seat at the table when decisions are made because I love you.
Thank you, Christine. Our next candidate is Oscar Ramirez. A big hand for Oscar Ramirez, please.
Good evening, everybody. Like you know, my name is Oscar Ramirez. And I'm your choice. You need me at town halls. It's been 8 years that I've been living in Leamington. I moved from Leamington. I moved to Leamington from Toronto and Hamilton. And that's a beautiful city. But we have people that is not working for us. Living in this town is a nightmare for the people we have. We need a clean out. We need new faces at town halls. I left my country when I was a little young fella. And the reason I left because I used to help people. I used to help people for free. If you vote for me and I win, I will donate my salary because I don't need it. If I don't help people, I do it from the bottom of my heart. Go to a town hall and see what kind of service you get. That's a nightmare. Transparency, what transparency? Go to the website and see what kind of information you want to find. You find nothing on it. For 4 years, I was trying to look. Go and apply for a business license. You have to have a connection inside. I hear from people, oh no, but I have a connection. So, if you vote for me, you don't need a connection. I will come and talk to you every day and try to solve your problems. People is not solving problems in this town. It's a beautiful town. It is. We ruin it with the people we bought. We need new faces at town halls. Experience, what experience you need? When it's come to help, you don't need experience. You don't need experience to help people. I hear every transparency, experience. All the people we have right now, they have experience. Do they help us? No. They're not helping nobody. Oh, we're talking about homeless. We have at the lodge. You watch at the by these people right now. We don't have nowhere to take it. All people used to call me and say, listen, Oscar, we have a guy here that doesn't speak English. He's the homeless. Where do you want me to take it? Take it to Windsor. Because we don't have nobody to help here. Everybody's talking right now about homeless. Property taxes. See, the salary is what these people make. We need a consultant. So if we need a consultant, that's fine. How these people are making that much money? Do they have experience what they're doing? Who controls them? Nobody does. Nobody does. We just say here, we have experience. Yeah, we need experience to help people. No, we don't need experience to help people. If somebody needs help, I will be there to help. Because I'm the right person to help. I've been helping since I was 15 years old. And I left my country because the government doesn't want me to help people. Because it's a crime to help people in my country. Because you don't have no right. Here we have the right. And October 24, I want you to vote for me to prove me that I can do a better job than anyone else is right there. And I do it with passion in my heart. I'm here to help you, anyone who needs it. Okay? And I'm telling you, I'm your right choice. Thank you very much.
Our next candidate is Corey Robertson. Big hand for Corey Robertson, please.
Thank you. I'm Corey Robertson, a father of two, the sales manager at Security One, and a former program director and on-air personality at Cheer FM. I've spent over 20 years marketing to Leamington, to Windsor, Essex County, and southwestern Ontario. By committing to a strong BIA beautification plan, developing our waterfront with continued input from residents, and working with industry partners, we can market our town to tourists, investors, builders, and young families. But first, we need to turn our attention to creating a safe, clean, and vibrant uptown. I've been working professionally to provide security and safety solutions for Leamington for the past decade. Resources need to be redirected to increase police presence in all crime areas of the town, increase patrols uptown, and expand the video surveillance grant program to all businesses in Leamington. This will allow us to work with law enforcement officials to help make our streets safer and to make arrests. There are now over 300 homeless people in Leamington. The plan to develop the former LDSS into low-income housing with homeless resource centers needs to be executed on immediately, and we need to address the mental health and addiction issues associated with and that are often the drivers of homelessness. And that's why I hosted a clothing drive this past weekend that filled my van with clothing for the homeless. While sitting on the Erie Shores Health Foundation Committee, I led the Healthcare Heroes Project, spotlighting healthcare providers and patients benefiting from their exceptional care. But we currently see 16-hour wait times and 132% capacity in our hospital on a regular basis. We need to attract doctors to live and practice in Leamington. As the Chamber of Commerce president, I advocated at Queen's Park for county-wide transit, county broadband services, and the creation of an agricultural center of excellence. To attract builders to develop affordable housing, we need to make it easier to do business with the municipality and improve communication and transparency. Getting building permits just has to be made easier. As president of the Bank Theater, I worked with the Arts Center to create and implement the first ever all-access Leamington Arts Pass. Our team helped produce family-friendly quality of life events like Mill Street Markets and the Music on the 42 series. Boy, Friday evenings and weekends are just alive with activity and culture uptown, and we have a tremendous opportunity to market this to the rest of the region to experience it all. Our guest workers inject millions of dollars into our local economy. To continue reaping the benefits of that, we need to build partnerships with community organizations to provide them the same types of quality of life experiences and social programs in safe, family-friendly facilities. Friends, I've volunteered for almost every organization in this town. I've sat on the Erie Shores Health Foundation Marketing Committee, the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and the Bank Theater Board of Directors. I'm a recipient of the Chamber's Positive Professional Award, the Mayor's Recognition Award for Community Inspiration, and the Queen's Jubilee Award for dedication to the community. I have put in the groundwork required for this office. I'm Corey Robertson. Thank you.
Our next candidate, I'd like you to welcome, a round of applause for Isaac Schmidt, please.
I'm standing before you here today with the heavy weight of responsibility on my shoulders, even though I'm not on council. The next 4 years are going to be critical in determining the future of our municipality. We are in a gridlock. We do not have enough housing. We do not have enough industrial land. Infrastructure is way behind. Houses are flooding. We do not have enough parking downtown. If you want to buy a residential lot in Leamington, you are unable to. If you do manage to get a residential lot, getting a permit is near impossible. There are builders that say they will not build in Leamington due to this uncertainty. Homelessness abounds and winter is coming. Mental illness is prevalent. Inflation has put significant pressure on our retired community, and some are now renting out spare room to make ends meet. Many have savings in RSPs and other investments that have lost significant value at the same time that the cost of living has increased and taxes are going up. Crime is up dramatically and will require a significant boost in funding to be brought back under control. Citizens are forced to try to solve crime and protect their homes and businesses themselves. We will need to target the drug distributors that are supplying drugs to our most vulnerable. The worst part is that these issues are not surprises and could have been prevented. We knew that the population was going to rise and would need houses. These issues were on the horizon a decade ago. I remember hearing about the same problems, although they were on a much smaller scale 10 years ago, and today it has become critical. It is nice to see that so many people show interest in serving in our local government, and I truly hope that every single one of them genuinely appreciates how difficult and how much work will need to be done in the next 4 years if we want to look back and say that we made progress by the end of 2026. If we continue down this road and we do not roll up our sleeves and get to work, our children will not find room to live in our precious municipality. My name is Isaac Schmidt, and I'm running for council, and I will work hard on every single one of the issues. We need to find a way to do these things, and at the same time, bring taxes back in line with similar municipalities for the residents that live here. There is so much more that needs to be talked about. Please do not make your crucial decision based off these 180 seconds. Make your decision on who you think will be able to solve these issues and do so expediently while creating unity in our precious community. This is of the utmost importance. Whoever is elected to council, whether they be incumbents or fresh faces, they need to recognize the enormous amount of work that needs to be done not only by council, but also by the paid administration at Town Hall. The only way to get through this is to push forward and do it together as a community. My name is Isaac Schmidt, and if you elect me, I promise that I will work hard for you. I know that we can persevere together as a community. Thank you.
Next candidate, Kyle Souza. Can I get a big hand for Kyle Souza, please?
I don't think this, it's on. Hello, my name is Kyle Souza, and I'll start by talking a very brief amount about myself. I'm 33 years old. I come from an immigrant background. My grandparents had moved to this area from Portugal back in the 50s, and my father actually had come and built and grew a life for himself and all of us in the 80s. I'm running because I see two problems. The first problem that I see is that of representation. When I look at the current makeup of council, I don't see anyone my age. But yet, people of my generation are of the age that we are going to be building our own futures, providing for our own families, looking for houses, starting a career, doing all of these things. And when I was young, I was always told that I would grow up and have to take responsibility for my own future, for my own decisions. Yet I don't really see that representation when I look at the current makeup of council. I want to change that. I can change that. A lot of people will say, well, why don't the youth vote? Now, I would say you and I probably know why it's a good idea to vote, but at the same point in time, who represents them? I don't really blame them. I wish to change that. The second issue is that of infrastructure. And I know it's been spoken about and mentioned a good few times, but I really cannot understate the importance of infrastructure. And it's not just infrastructure, paying for infrastructure today, it's also then maintaining that infrastructure and dealing with the end of life cycle too. I believe I've heard the stat brought up by a few people that within the next 20 to 30 years, you're looking at $900 million in repairs, decommissions, and any other drains or strains upon our infrastructure. We talk a lot about things like homelessness and drug abuse. A lot of these are symptoms of a greater problem. And the problem is Leamington's ability to grow. It should be no mystery that the homelessness is going to be right tied with the difficulty in finding a home. Now, I wish to focus on the infrastructure crunch, and I can do that. I have my master's in political science, and I know my way around bureaucracy. It is going to require an increased presence, whether at the provincial and federal level, to get the funds that we need. I don't believe that raising taxes is going to be the answer.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Our next candidate is Paul Thiessen. A big hand for Paul Thiessen, please.
Good evening. I'm Paul Thiessen. I'm a lifelong resident and operate the family farm. Lisa and I have been married for 29 years and have 2 daughters. Currently, I sit as a member of council for the Municipality of Leamington and am seeking re-election. This council has been able to open the lines of communication with the upper levels of the OPP. We need to keep these lines open to address ongoing issues. Speeding is out of control throughout the municipality. This needs to be addressed, whether it is through police enforcement, traffic calming measures, or as many cities are now using speed enforcement cameras in key areas to keep our streets safer. Using alternate methods could also free up time for our officers to spend on other very important issues, such as drug enforcement, theft, domestic issues, and much more. Housing and homelessness is a very important issue. This council purchased the old LDSS property and is currently preparing requests for proposal to attract developers to build affordable and attainable housing on this site. We also need to keep working with groups such as SACC, The Bridge, Canadian Mental Health Association, and also the City of Windsor, who holds the funding for the region when it comes to homelessness. We have streamlined transit with on-demand busing. By making transit more available, predictable, and efficient, this will increase ridership and be more convenient to our residents. We need to continue working on infrastructure like sewer separation, ditch cleaning, road maintenance, and the North Trunk sewer line. A business model to fund the sewer line is currently being developed. This sewer line is also important to the housing issue as it has the potential to free up many residential houses within the urban area as the greenhouse industry can then build housing on site. We must do better at streamlining the process of site plan agreements and issuing building permits. In the past 4 years, Leamington has seen unprecedented growth, especially in the ag industry. This growth has exposed deficiencies and issues within our planning and permitting departments. A third-party service delivery review has been undertaken in this area and will be presented to council at our next meeting tomorrow night. Fiscal responsibility is always important. There's a balance between operational spending, capital investment, life cycle replacement, and contribution to reserves for future stability. With rising inflation, there will be some very difficult decisions to make in the area of capital spending in order to keep taxes in check. Leamington has a solid agricultural base, industry, tourism, healthcare, social and recreational amenities. We need to maintain and build upon what we already have. We need to ensure that all areas of the municipality are treated fairly. We are a diverse community and need to be cognizant of the needs of all residents. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Tim Wilkinson. A big hand for Tim Wilkinson, please.
Good evening. I wish to thank Wendy, Ursula, and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this candidate meet and greet. For those of you who are not familiar with who I am, I'll give you some background. I'm 47 years old. I'm married to my wife, Laura. We have 2 healthy and beautiful kids named Max and Elise. I was born and raised on the 5th and 6th concessions of Leamington. I grew up helping my dad with his farms. We grew everything from tobacco to soybeans, but mostly tomatoes for Nabisco. Now I'm a partner with the Speed Print Group here in Leamington. Our business has existed in Leamington for 35 years. I was first elected to council in 2014 and again in 2018. My 8 years on council provided me an opportunity to participate on many boards and committees. My top 4 wish list items for this next term include the following. Number 1, securing the commitment to start construction of the North Chunk Sewer Project. A lot of people don't understand the importance of this project has on our community. They don't realize how the sewer will help ease the pressure on the urban area and how it will contribute to opening up affordable housing inventory. Many have said to me, why don't you make the greenhouse operators house their workers on the farm? The answer is the majority of the greenhouses would like to put their workers on the farm, but unfortunately they can't due to limited sewer capacity. So they're forced to buy up available housing stock wherever they can. This has a ripple effect. Since farms with more financial resources buy up the available housing stock, it makes it difficult for average regular home buyers to compete in that same market. Item number 2. Carefully and responsibly execute the waterfront development plan council approved earlier this year. Recently, council passed the $38 million master plan. Council has been quietly acquiring properties leading up to the launch of this exciting plan. The plan can be found online and I urge you to look at it. Number 3, we need to continue the work we already started on shoreline protection in Southeast Leamington. There's a good chance Southeast Leamington will experience a disaster situation someday. We have to continue to work with our partners on preparing for short-term and long-term solutions. I'm a firm believer that climate change and the impacts it creates is the ultimate challenge my generation and my kids face. We have to be vigilant and prepare properly. And 4th, expand and enhance the supports for arts and culture facilities and organizations in the Leamington area. I'm really proud of the progress we've achieved over the last 8 years, creating the infrastructure for arts and culture to the Leamington area. The list includes the renovated library, the Bank Theatre, our Leamington Arts Center, the amphitheater, and the Mill Street Markets. We created the facilities, now we need to support the organizations that run programs from them. It's been my sincere pleasure to serve the residents of Leamington for the past 8 years. Thank you very much.
This concludes tonight's debate. Thank the candidates and the public for coming out, please. On your way out, please be sure to take and pick up your free rapid test kits on the way out. And make sure you get your votes mailed in, please. Thanks and have a good night.